Welcome to Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel. Chris Lee along with Brian Edwards here to preview number 18 South Florida at Memphis. You can catch that 11 Central on ESPN. FanDuel has South Florida as a 5.5-point favorite with an over-under of 63.5. We are an SEC channel. That's who we cover. But this game has interest, I think, to SEC fans because it could have a big impact on the college football playoff. We'll get into the whys of all that momentarily. But first, a reminder, we are brought to you by our friends at Game Time Sidekicks. I drink from this wonderful 40-ounce tumbler every day with my water. Game Time Sidekicks has officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, 350 other universities, everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16 gets you 20% off your entire order at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Brian, this is going to be an interesting game. Maybe not as interesting as I would have thought a week ago because, boy, has some stuff changed for Memphis. The Tigers play UAB last week, and I didn't see that one coming, an upset. But there were reasons for it. Memphis lost dual-threat quarterback Brendon Lewis, a very talented kid who got hurt in the first half of the game. That game probably will not play this week. As for South Florida, the Bulls just keep on rolling. An early season win over Florida in the Swamp after dominating Boise, I think, the week before that. South Florida did take one loss to Miami, a team that's beaten a lot of people. And South Florida's got some dangerous quarterbacks of their own, or at least one in particular that we'll talk about momentarily. But I think this game is a fun one. South Florida, to me, is the team with the inside track at that group of five bid. That's the team I would pick right now. Again, they're ranked 18th for a reason. But, hey, this will be a tough game with Memphis. And the reason this is interesting, the automatic qualifier of the group of five or the team picked for that spot is probably going to get the 12th seed in the playoffs, which would play at the 5, which right now could be any number of SEC teams. If you pick the field, that could be Georgia, could be Alabama, could be Texas A&M. I think A&M would be higher than that. Point is, an SEC team could see one of these two teams in the playoffs, Brian. Let's talk about who we think that'll be. Let's start with Memphis. We talked about all the stuff that changed with the Tigers last week. Brendon Lewis doesn't look like he's going to play. A.J. Hill filled in for him last week. He's a very talented kid, was 13 of 25 for $175, 1 touchdown and 1 pick, but no rushing yards, which really changed Memphis's offense.
Yeah, and he is a 4-star recruit, only the 13th in program history, and the 3rd highest rated recruit in program history. That's A.J. Hill, the true freshman out of Warner Robins, Georgia. And yeah, Lewis was having a great year. He had 440 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, 5.1 yards per carry average, completing 69.5% of his passes, 1,337 yards, 8-4 TD/INT ratio. And I should note also, these teams are a combined 2-0 against the SEC. As Memphis beats Arkansas and USF, wins at Florida, and like you said, doesn't look like Lewis is going to play. I mean, we don't know that for sure. He was on crutches and in a walking boot in the second half as he got hurt in the first half. So that certainly doesn't sound very promising. I'm pretty sure the AAC injury report comes out on Wednesday nights, just like the SEC's. And as far as the G5 berth, the AAC is up for grabs with 5 contenders still alive. You got Memphis and USF both have 1 loss, but USF is out of conference. Navy's undefeated, and then you got Tulane and North Texas with 1 loss, but USF has got the tiebreaker as they walloped North Texas the other week. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned Navy. Navy's unbeaten. I don't think Navy's going to survive its second half schedule with who it's got. So I think the winner of this game has got a great shot.
Yes.
Maybe the inside track to a playoff, especially if it is South Florida. Hey, the Bulls, man, I'm so impressed with Alex Golesh. What he has done taking over a program that was pretty far down. Byron Brown is the guy that makes it go there. He's 128 of 202. has thrown 5 picks, but also 16 touchdowns. They run the ball really well. He's run for 566 with a long of 31. So he's got a little bit of speed to go to the distance. They've got some explosive backs. Sam Franklin, Davenport, Isaac, all guys that have broken big runs. Actually, they got several guys that have broken big runs for them this year. They have run it for 1,626 yards this year and 16 touchdowns, 5.4 carry. That's not adjusted for sacks. But this is a multifaceted attack that really can beat you a lot of ways and has just put up some huge scoring totals in games lately. I mean, they put, 63 on North Texas, 48 on Florida Atlantic, 54 on Charlotte, 63 on South Carolina State. Not so hot against Florida, 18 there, 12 against Miami, but 34 against Boise State. This is the team that can really put points on other teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned their their running backs. I mean, they're 4 deep in the backfield. They've got 4 different running backs that have run for 166 yards. And Brown, he spreads the wealth around with his receivers as well. But I did want to mention their best receiver, Chaz Nimrod, who's got 23 receptions, 466 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So he left that North Texas game a couple of weeks ago in the second half, and he did not play against FAU last week. And again, we'll know more on the availability report, but I don't think it's a serious injury. And the guess here is they probably would have held him out against FAU regardless to get him healthy for this game. Now, I also saw on Twitter that one of their better defensive players might be back for this game. He's been hurt. He hasn't played all year. His name's Michael Williams, edge rusher. Last year, he had 30 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 3 passes broken up, and a pair of QB hurries. So they might get an addition to their defense that they haven't had all year, and they may get Nimrod back. Again, we'll know more on the availability report.
No, there's some pretty good defenses in this game too. Memphis is giving up under 20 points a game. It's done some really good things in terms of rushing offense and controlling the clock, which also keeps your defense off the field. I think that part of Memphis is going to be impacted. But some of the stats from Memphis, giving up 3.5 yards per carry, that's not sack adjusted. Only 747 rushing yards against Memphis all year. Teams have thrown a little bit more on them, about 1,600 yards. But Memphis does have 10 picks. So takeaways could be something to watch for Byron Brown, who's had a little bit of an issue with that with this year. South Florida's defense at times has been pretty good in its own right. This team has been really good for the most part at stopping the run, yards per rushing play, taking sacks out of it. 3.4 against Boise, 4.5 against Florida. Struggled against Miami, 5.6, but 3.1 against South Carolina State, 4.3 against both Charlotte and North Texas, and then 2.4 against Florida Atlantic. I think Memphis wanting to run the ball and missing a big part of that, that's a spot where it's really going to come up, I think, is an important thing in this game because, again, South Florida has really shown that it can stop the run in a lot of its games this year.
Yeah, but and I'm sure it's a little skewed because North Texas passes so much, and I'm guessing Beck had a monster game against them. But USF is ranked number 126 against the pass out of 136 FBS teams. But how well prepared is AJ Hill to exploit that? We'll see. Not only was that his first significant playing time last week, I mean, I think it was his only playing time, unless he just didn't record a stat and got a couple snaps in at garbage time, handing it off. But he all of his stats for this year were all from last week. So first career start is never a good thing. But in betting, I like to go against guys making their first career start. But from the betting standpoint, Memphis has been great as a home underdog under Silverfield. They're 7-2 against the spread with 6 outright wins, and several of them have been against SEC teams. The Mississippi State win against Mike Leach and company several years back in that real controversial game. The Arkansas win that we noted. They also beat Iowa State in a bowl game 2 years ago by double digits as a double-digit underdog. So, a lot of those 6 outright wins have been against Power 4 opponents. A couple of them being SMU and Houston, but I think it was before they moved to Power 4.
Yeah, a couple more things. South Florida has bled at times against the pass this year, 11.8 per passing play against Miami, 8.4 against North Texas. So keep an eye on that if Memphis can throw it. Again, a little bit of an unknown there. Brian, a couple more things before we go. I touched on turnovers earlier. Memphis, again, has picked off 10 balls and recovered 4 fumbles. Its offense has been picked 6 times, and it has lost 2 fumbles. South Florida has been pretty good at forcing turnovers, 3.3% of snaps. That's an elite rate, and it's turned it over about 2% of offensive snaps. So that could use a little bit of improvement. It's probably close to average, so keep an eye on that. And I think you've got some series stuff and some home stuff at Memphis in terms of how good Memphis has been at home that are worth bringing up before we dive into predictions.
Yeah, so Memphis has won 11 in a row at home. They have won 4 in a row over USF and 7 of 8. But so AAC went away from divisions a couple of years ago. So when I'm talking about this, 4 in a row and 7 of 8, they haven't been playing every year. They have played every year the last 2 years. I'll mention how Memphis won 21-3 last year. But Brown was hurt. Brown, I think he got hurt in the 5th game last year and missed the last 7. But he did play when they met at Memphis 2 years ago. Memphis won 59-50. But obviously the USF losing, but they scored 50. Brown had a monster game. He was 31 of 39 for 357 yards, 5 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick, but he also had 100 rushing yards on 23 carries. So 457 yards he accounted for and 5 touchdowns when they met 2 years ago. But he missed last year's game and they only scored 3 points. So 47-point difference in output without Brown.
All right, let's get into picks and why. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I got to go USF here. Now, if Lewis was healthy, it might be a different story, but we've seen USF go on the road in conference. North Texas was undefeated when USF went out there a couple weeks ago, and they fell behind. I think they were even losing at halftime, but they come back and they win 63-36. And with Lewis out, A.J. Hill's first career start, I got to go with USF.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I think that this is a team that Alex Golish's guys have not been phased on the road. They won in the Swamp, won that North Texas game, which I think was a big Thursday night or Friday night matchup with a lot of people on hand, and they dominated that game pretty much. So I like them. I think it's a shame that Lewis isn't going to play. I think it'd be a much more interesting game with him. That just takes away a big dynamic of their offense, and it just you're putting it on an unknown with Hill. And that feels like a lot to ask for this team. Brian, I want to get your opinion on the total in just a minute at 63.5 at FanDuel. Before we do that, reminder, we're brought to you by the Yearly Company, which is a Nashville-based fine jewelry company. Hey, guys, go ahead and get your Christmas shopping done ahead of time. Do me a favor, or do yourself a favor and do that because God knows the last thing you want to do is do last-minute Christmas shopping. We'll help you out here with our friends at the Yearly Company. Each piece handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold natural gemstones made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle is custom size, so knowing your size is most important first step before ordering. That's where the sizing kit comes in. It is the perfect place to start, especially for husbands who want to have their sizes ready now, so shopping closer to the holidays is effortless. Code SE16KIT, K-I-T, gets you 100% off the sizing kit at checkout. Also brought to you by Rockform, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Their products are just amazing. I use them all the time. Get the vent clip for your car. You'll thank me for that one later. The world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock-lock secure mounting, SEC 25 gets you 25% off your entire order. Finally, Hovey hats, your new favorite hat. My Titans stink, but I wear their hat with pride because I love Hovey hats. Look no further than Hovey for high-quality headwear with the great fit and unique designs. Bad Beat, BADBEAT, get you 15% off your entire order at Hovey, HOVI, drygoods.com. All right, your opinion on the total. I want to hear yours first. I've got one, but I don't want to influence your thought here.
All right, the under is 5-2 overall for Memphis this year, and this is their highest total of the year. So the under's gone 5-2 without having a total as high as 63.5. The over 4-3 overall for USF, but this is a high number. I got to go under just with the uncertainty of AJ Hill. I mean, he didn't play the whole game, but they end up with 24 points against a UAB team that's not very good, had just fired their coach. So I got to go under 63.5.
Yeah, I think gosh, I was really going to go the over in this one, but the more I listen to you talk, I think I'm with you, and I think a lot of it is like South Florida's been putting up a ton of points on teams. These have been some really high-scoring games, but you look at the type of game this one is, I think it's probably closer to a type of game they saw with Florida and Miami, where that was, Florida game was 18-16. I think my hesitation is South Florida runs 71 plays a game, and its defense is on the field for 73, and Memphis plays at a little faster tempo than a lot of teams. They're on the field for, 67 plays, defense on the field for 64. I think if everybody is fully healthy, I would like the over, but I worry about Memphis's ability to score.
Right.
Now, they can run the ball. They really gassed Arkansas in the run game, but it's a different animal here. Now, Arkansas's got an awful run defense. South Florida's is better. And again, Lewis not a factor. I think I'm with you on the under, but a lot of plays in a game, and Alex Golish's team could put up so many points. Keep an eye on that. I think Memphis's defense being pretty good probably is the thing that governs the decisions here. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll do some playoff picks every week. We'll talk about group of 5 teams and who can get that spot. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Have a great rest of your week. For Brian Edwards, I'm Chris Lee. You have been watching Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.